Friends, good morning to all. So I formally welcome you all to our today's webinar on strategic cost management for dairies. Actually, this is one of the important session we thought, and we arranged in a very short span of time for the benefit of our members. And also this webinar we are conducting after 2 months. As you all know, in last December on 8th in Chennai, we celebrated Dr. Varghese Kurien's birth centenary celebration at Chennai, and it's a very grand success where 100 people participated and got benefited through that one-day conference. So with that, in continue to that, we have arranged this webinar today, and I formally welcome today's our speaker, Mr. Ramanaiah Naidu sir, who is a chartered accountant, and he has worked in many corporate companies like Scrubber Dynamics, Amara Raja Batteries. So he is going to share his insight views about the strategic costing for dairies. And with this, I welcome our South Zone Chairman, Mr. C.P. Charles sir, for being with us for today's webinar. And I also welcome all our members, friends from other chapters who are all attending this webinar. So now I invite our treasurer, Dr. Rajarajan, to invite our today's guest to us. Over to Dr. Rajarajan.
Thank you, sir. Good morning to everyone. Today's webinar is on strategic cost management in dairy industry, which is going to be presented by eminent cost accountant, Mr. Maddipatla Ramanaiah Naidu. Sir has obtained his B.Sc degree from Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupati, and obtained his MBA from Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University, Hyderabad. He got his FCMA from Institute of Cost Accountants of India and obtained his FCS from Institute of Company Secretaries of India, and also LLB from Osmania University, Hyderabad. He was awarded Certificate of Merit for passing in one sitting all the subjects of final examination of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India in December 1987. He has passed MBA in first class with distinction. His professional career in private sector began after a 6-year stint with the Government of India. Initially, he concentrated on cost management and attained mastery over various aspects of cost management in engineering as well as process industry. His roles and responsibilities grown progressively, encompassing all aspects of the management of finance, accounts, costing, and company secretary functions. His last employment was with Amara Raja Batteries Limited as Chief Financial Officer, CFO for group companies, company secretary for an infrastructure company in the group. After 31 years in employment, he started practicing as cost accountant for the last 7 years, serving diverse clientele in manufacturing sector and PSU banks. Sir is a fast walker, yoga practitioner, and a fitness enthusiast. With all these credentials, we are happy to invite our today's resource person, Mr. Maddipatla Ramanaiah Naidu, to present webinar on strategic cost management in dairy industry. Welcome you, sir.
So now we formally hand over the session to our today's guest speaker. Sir, now you can take over. Thank you.
Sir, please unmute yourself, sir. So your voice is becoming audible. Just unmute from your side, sir.
Clear? Is it
So it's clear, sir. Please. But we start from your first slide, sir.
okay?
You are in the middle of
Okay, I was on mute. Oh, sorry. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and this is a good forum to share my experiences. And once again, thank you for giving me this opportunity. So this is a full day program, but I'll try to condense it and then give you the essence, showing a few slides which are relevant for our today's topic and gives you the flavor of what is cost management. So we come straight to the cost management slide. Here, cost management it involves both control as well as reduction. Of course, avoidance is the third element in that. So the generally accepted word for cost management is optimization. That is, you have to optimize your cost with the quality of the product. So I always give an example of an office file constructed, well built at an exorbitant cost, but it's not moving in the market. So the market survey is telling that your product is so costly, but the company is saying that my product can be dropped from a third floor, but nothing happens to my file. So the market is saying that, fine, you have built such an exorbitant quality, but I don't want to drop it from the third floor. I want to keep it in my cupboard. So that means the wrong application or the wrong quality for the desired application at an exorbitant cost. So you have to always align the cost as well as the quality of the product in such a way that the customer sees some value and buys the product. So there are three elements to this cost management: cost control, cost reduction, and cost avoidance.
கொஞ்சம் மீட் பண்ணிக்கங்க please.
The enablers, whether you follow cost, we want to do cost control or you want to do cost reduction or cost avoidance, but basic requirement is a metrics based process mapping, aligning the data capturing and defining the metrics that are to be computed. For example, financial accounting captures the data in total, but when it comes to cost accounting, take for example your procurement function. The price of the milk, what you pay to the farmer, in most of the places it is government fixed, so not much leeway. But look at the other cost elements there: the transportation cost, the chilling cost. Now the transportation cost, if you want to compute the transportation cost in each route, how much I am spending per kilometer in each route for transporting a liter of milk. Whether financial accounting will capture this kind of data it will tell you the totals. So the data capturing has to be aligned to your cost management strategy, and somewhere it has to be available. And it's not simply available. And there should be some cross check saying that at the end of the day, all my transportation cost, when I bifurcate into route for each route and compute my cost for liter of milk that I procured, it should tally with the some. You should have some control total. That is your profit and loss account transportation cost. So that is the alignment of data. And you should define your metrics. How do you compute your metrics? Is it simply cost per liter of milk, or is something else, or cost per kilometer of transportation? If you compute cost per liter of milk, then somewhere else you may be transporting more distance than what is required. So that factor will not come out if you just compute cost per liter of transportation cost. So this will tell you, saying that your transportation cost is going up, but it won't tell you why it is going up. So you have to define your metrics, how you want to compute. These three factors are enablers for cost management. Then next step is identifying the cost drivers. So for the strategic point of view, I'm keeping it aside for a while. I'll take you through that slide as well. For time being, we see that cost drivers drive the cost. Now there are cost drivers. While you are procure the inputs, what drives your cost? After procuring inputs, what drives the cost while you are processing the inputs? And the output has to reach the market. So the cost doesn't end at once you manufacture the product and then complete the product. So the cost travels along the product until it reaches the customer. Now, what are these steps and how it can be done? Let's move forward. So this plays an important role, input and output. How accurately we are measuring these inputs and outputs. We have challenges in dairy industry to measure these inputs and outputs. So there are so many tools available. Which tool you should use? All are not applicable universally for all businesses. So what tool is relevant for you? You have to choose. Now let's see cost control. The activity of maintaining cost as per established norm. One is you compare the budget versus actual, but it will tell you only the historical cost at the end of the month. If you compare the budget versus actual, whether you are within your budget or outside your budget. Now, most of the cases, my experience is saying that my budget is X, that is 10 crores for this month, but I have done at 9 crores, so I am well off. No, your budget is for certain level of activity. If your milk processing was defined and if your 10 crores budget was processing X quantity of milk, have you actually processed X quantity of milk? Or it may be more, it may be less. So you have to readjust your budget to the actual activity level while comparing the budget versus actual. Then it will give you some clue where you did well, where you went wrong. And then you'll compute the variances. Total variance, you can break it down, price variance, usage variance. And usage variance again, is it because of the mix variance or yield variance? These are all historical costs. Will not help you much because already happened is happened. So what to do in future? Cost reduction, it's identifying, eliminating wasteful expenditure. Now let's see how cost reduction happens. So review your product futures, and eliminate those product features which are not required. Butter, you are selling at 82% fat. Butter contains 82% fat. Anything beyond 82% fat, customer is not going to pay you because you don't want it. So how do you maintain that 82%? Exactly 82% is next to impossible. Even with super duper digital technology, there may be a fraction. If it is less than that, customer will reduce the price of your butter for low fat, but if it is more than that, he is not going to pay you. So product features, is it as per recipe, or are you giving more solids to the customer than what he is asking for? Then activities, whether all the activities are adding value to the customer, or there are some activities which can be eliminated. If a particular activity is not adding value to the customer, no need to spend money to carry out that activity. Now, reduce the cycle time. Are you utilizing completely the rated capacity of the equipment, or are you running at a lower level? One of my clients was having a separator which can run at 14,000 RPM, but he was running at 12,000 RPM, but it's consuming the same power. The output is low. So cycle time, can you reduce the cycle time? Increase the first pass yield so that reprocessing can be eliminated. This happens mostly in butter. You want 82% fat. It's coming continuously from the continuous butter making machine, and you are packing. By the time you tested it and confirmed that 82% fat is really in the butter, by then already 81% fat material has accumulated. Now this has to go for melting. You cannot send it to the market, right? So if this product is already in the cold room, melting will cost you more than a butter which is coming directly from the churn to the ghee boiler because of the temperature difference. Now, cost-effective technology. Are you using the cost-effective technology? Now, dairy technology, in dairy, it's a well-established practice while making the skim milk powder using steam for evaporation of milk. What are the new technologies that are coming up? Whether those are cost-effective, whether that can be done cheaper than this using steam for evaporating water. So whether how cost effective is our technology. Then alternate materials. Search for alternate materials. One of the ice creams was using normal vegetable fat, but there was an alternate material which could give you a cost reduction of almost 50%, but it needs an extra process. What is that extra process? At normal temperature, it will be in solid condition. So you need to melt it. You have to spend a little steam. Even after doing all that extra process, the cost of this, total cost of this alternate material in usable condition in the ice cream plant was coming to 75% of what the original fat was, vegetable fat was. Then capacity utilization. Now off season, we have a challenge in dairy industry to keep the capacity utilization fully. And input tax credit, these are all some of the ways in which you can reduce your cost. Now cost avoidance. Third element of cost management is cost avoidance. Just see the measures, long-term measures, long-term supply contracts with vendors, especially Transportation. Transportation cost is a significant cost element in dairy industry, both inward transport as well as outward transport. Do you have long-term contracts with the logistics companies, or you decide the freight ad hoc and then make payment on an ad hoc basis? Customer order fulfillment. So if the customer orders are not fulfilled in time, so this leads to cancellations and penalties. Statutory compliances, especially the pollution control, where the penalties are huge. Quality rejection at a customer end, especially the food product, is very costly. You cannot bring it back to your plant. At the same time, you cannot throw it out there also. So it will be a hell of a job handling this once customer rejects at his end. The preventive maintenance, safety, effective internal control, a project execution as per schedule, all these are some of the examples of avoiding cost. The cost which doesn't be there in your budget, the cost which doesn't sit in your books regularly, but this cost will come and sit in your books as and when the incident takes place. So you cannot budget this avoidable costs. This is a cost which you will see only when it happens. For example, penalties. No one wants penalties. If there is no statutory compliance problem, then all of a sudden there is a penalty. So these avoidable costs are costs which come into your books only when it happens. How to prevent this? Now let's look at a comparison of our traditional costing versus our strategic view. Now every organization carries out activities to produce goods or render services. So activities will cost. So this is from organization's manufacturer's point of view is cost. Now this cost is creating value for the customers. Value is always from the customer's point of view. The question that arises is whether all the activities are adding value to the customer. If not, then why those activities? Now these activities should be things, and you should be doing these things differently. Doing right things means we will be talking about effectiveness of the medicine. When the doctor gives us the medicine, whether it is working or not working. If it is working, then we should get relief, no? Similarly, the activities that are carried out in the business should be adding value to the customer. If it is not adding value to the customer, then it is not the right thing that you are carrying out. And it's not only right things. These right things, you should do it efficiently. Identifying the right thing is not enough. So that has to be done in the right manner and efficiently. Now this effectiveness portion is called, we call it as strategy, and this efficiency portion, we call it operational efficiency. So both are important from cost management point of view. You should have a proper strategy, cost management strategy, and your operations should be carried out efficiently. Now, the underlying theme of strategic cost management, here the actual subject starts. The underlying theme of strategic cost management is value chain analysis that will tell you where you should focus your cost management efforts. It is a chain of activities, start from beginning to the end. Start from the beginning of your raw material procurement until the finished product reaches the customer. The second theme is strategic positioning analysis. Are you a product leader or a cost leader? But definitely you cannot be both. Why you cannot be both? let us see moving forward. So either you have to be a cost leader or you can be a product leader. Third one is cost driver analysis. What drives your cost? We all think that volume drives our cost. No, it's not the volume alone that drives your cost. So these cost drivers can be examined from two different aspects. One is structural cost drivers and executional cost drivers. Now, let's look at value chain analysis. So it identifies the value chain. After this slide, I will take you directly to the value chain of dairy industry. Identify the value chain. It represents a significant portion of operating costs. And the cost behavior will be different for each activity. While in procurement, your transportation cost, its behavior is different. Chilling cost behavior is different. And the commission what you pay to the procurement agents, the cost behavior is different. Now, how do you want to carry out these activities compared to your competitors? If every dairy follows the same practice, what you follow, then where is the cost advantage for you? What is the advantage for you? So how are you different from others? Then diagnose cost drivers, the structural cost drivers and executional cost drivers. Then you should develop a sustainable competitive advantage. How? By controlling these cost drivers, not costs. If you control the cost driver, automatically cost is controlled. Now, if I control the number of kilometers my milk travels from the procurement center to this chilling center, then my cost is different. And automatically that comes under control. If that is not possible, then you have to reconfigure the value chain. Otherwise, you cannot survive in the market. Some of the questions that we ask is, can we reduce cost in this activity holding value constant for the same activity, holding the value constant, can we reduce the costs? Or can we increase value in this activity? If cost cannot be reduced, keep them constant, can you increase value? And can we reduce assets in this activity, holding costs and revenues constant? This is the value chain of dairy industry. So it starts at farm or farmers, then collection from there, then you have to chill it, transportation, processing, marketing, and distribution. Now, in these activities, you have to identify the cost driver, because at each activity, the cost driver is different. Maybe in the processing area, the cost driver is different. Within the processing area, at each department, the cost driver may be different. And marketing cost drivers are totally different depending upon the product what you sell. Is it cold product or ambient temperature product or long shelf life product, short shelf life product like liquid milk? So the cost drivers are different here, and it differs from business to business and market to market. What are the challenges we face? What kind of strategies we need in milk procurement? Let us say milk price, most of these places, it is fixed by the state governments. We don't have much leeway there. We can pay more, but cannot pay less than what the government has fixed already. Then competition during lean season. So everybody wants that few drops available there, and everybody is looking to pick up that by paying some incentive, some way or other. Is telling the farmer, saying that if you sell the milk to me, you get more benefited. And then milk availability is a challenge during plus season and lean season. Plus season, it is available plenty. Then is our processing facilities geared up to handle that milk? Even if our processing facilities are geared up, have we done properly in the market? Whether the market is in a position to absorb this excess quantity of milk? If not, what are the other options to you? Suppose you can make long shelf life products like powders, but what is the carrying cost? And especially during lean season, the farmers switch customers. Their loyalty is to the money. I'm not saying all farmers follow this, but at least some farmers, they switch because so-and-so is paying 50 paise more per liter than this dairy. So they will switch. Then milk quality is a challenge. There are challenges in quality of the milk. That is cattle health, medications given to the cattle, and the feed that they give to the cattle. This feed affects quality of the milk in the form of toxins. So you are all familiar with aflatoxin coming in the milk, which is coming from the feed given to the animal, where oil cake is given. So that comes in the milk in the form of aflatoxin. So do we have testing facilities for this? Whether we need aflatoxin free milk or not, definitely everybody wants it. But how do we handle this challenge? So other farm practices, how clean the hygienic the farm is, and how the cattle are kept, and how hygienic the milking facilities, milking practices, and adulteration is a universal. It has become a big problem. As long as the farmer gets a few rupees more, there are some unscrupulous elements there who do this adulteration. Then coming to the measuring and testing, what is the accuracy level of this equipment? Now the milk is procured in the field. Now you have the testing facility there. All of a sudden, if the testing equipment breaks down, you cannot stop milk procurement. You cannot, once the milk is taken, animal is milked, that milk has to come. So you cannot stop the milk procurement. So do you maintain a standby testing equipment at each and every procurement level? Is it economical? Even if you want to maintain, is it economical, or is there any alternative for this to handle this problem? Then functionality, how well this equipment is functioning, and measuring testing practices. This is a very difficult, typical problem where at the collection centers, it's quite normal that 8.5 SNF, 4.5 fat, if some milk comes, so the same milk is used as sample for other farmers. And if the procurement agent want to do some favor to someone, so that is possible. So how do we handle this kind of challenges? Then procurement itself, procurement practices. Are you into remote areas where you procure from the farmers directly? Or are you buying from some cooperatives who collect the milk and then sell it to you at your factory gate? The milking to chilling time gap, this affects the MBRT. And your cheesemaker always says No, I want fresh milk, I want fresh milk. So is it possible? So what is the time gap between milking to chilling? One is the distance, no doubt. The second one is the farmer, after completing all his other activities, he will bring it late. So the time has already 2 hours has gone. In remote localities, it is a far away place, but some quantity of milk is available. Do you want that milk? If so, how economical is that? This is and transportation, distance to processing center, transit losses. Generally, on the way, there are so many practices, undesirable practices that happens while transporting milk. What are our systems and procedures to handle these challenges? There is no one right solution for all the problems, for all the businesses. This is an iterative process which has to be worked out separately for each business. It depends upon the working conditions and the way in which you are functioning. Now, that is the procurement side. Now coming to the milk processing, what are the challenges here? One is material balancing. Now you have different lines. You have liquid milk line, you have powder line, you have cheese line, you have so many lines. The milk available is limited. How do you keep all these lines balanced and keep running? And if it leads to small batches, uneconomical. One side you have to look at your cost, the other side you have to look at your market as well. You cannot afford to lose the market. And storage and usage is a challenge. In plus season, when you get more milk, how do you store it? That is again, storage also will cost you because you have to keep it chilled. So there is a cost involved there. After facing all these challenges, when you start processing, there is an environmental problem. Your significant cost element after your material is the most problematic area is your ETP. How is your ETP functioning? How costly the running of that ETP? Is it a power guzzler? It's a power guzzler, no doubt. And at the same time, we need a lot of chemicals there. So after doing all this, how do you dispose of the processed effluent? Is it good for agriculture? Then there is no problem. So there will be farmers competing for your water. If it is not good for agriculture, then you have problems again. And there's line balancing. Now the products, liquid milk is a distribution challenge, and long shelf life products is a inventory carrying cost challenge. How do you face these challenges? So these are all the areas where your strategy should play an important role and you should be able to manage your costs. Now let's look at what is this strategic positioning analysis. I was telling you that you can be either a product leader or a cost leader, but cannot be both. Look at this. There's a Michael Porter's generic strategies. If the strategic target is if you want to be all over the market, then either you should be a product leader or you should be a cost leader. If you try to be both product leader as well as cost leader, then you will get stuck in the middle. Why? Product differentiation will cost you more, and cost leadership can be attained by keeping the unwanted product features away and unwanted activities away and concentrating only on the cost. So with low cost, you cannot differentiate the product. Product differentiation will cost you additional cost. So you cannot be cost leader if you want to be product leader, or if you want to be product leader, you cannot be cost leader. So if you try to be both, you will get stuck in the middle. Then the third strategy available to you is niche market, focus market, a particular focus market. Here you are neither a product leader nor a cost leader, but you are giving product what the market wants. Here the market is so small that big players will not come here, but you can compete on this. Now, competitive advantage, how do you create competitive advantage? Look at the relative differentiation position. If it is superior, then you have the advantage of product differentiation. In dairy, what differentiation you can see? You can tell almost that my milk is aflatoxin free. You can use it as a marketing tool if you have the testing facility, and if you can afford that cost of testing, and you can tell that my milk is aflatoxin free, or my milk is adulterant free. If your operation is a low cost operation, you can say that, yes, my product, this is my lowest price, I'm selling it to you. So customer is willing to buy that product. But you neither have a product differentiation advantage nor a cost advantage. So you will get stuck in the middle, and product differentiation with cost advantage is a rare combination where you will not be able to achieve that. Now, it also depends on the stage of your business. If you are at the beginning, you are a startup, if you try to be cost leader, definitely that is a misfit. It's not possible at the beginning itself to have a cost leadership. First, you should concentrate on building the market and then try to achieve the leadership either in cost or in product. If your business is mature and it is a harvest stage, what you say, no more fresh initiatives are required, but you can take the benefit of whatever efforts, your past efforts, and now you don't want to introduce any more new features in your product, but you want to make the profit. So then it is a harvest stage. There you can think about low cost. So there at the harvest stage, if you talk about product differentiation, then again you are coming back to square one, which is again a misfit. So it's not possible. These are some of the strategic financial themes. Now I'll take you to an important slide. This is an important slide. Where do dairy fit into this triangle? One is competitive pressure. Now commodity, dairy product, mostly commodities, liquid milk, a commodity. Now what the market wants, the competitive pressure, where should you compete? I always advise saying that in this commodity business, you reduce the price. So you reduce the price, you gain volume. To what extent you can go down? You can go down till you have some profit, but never do it at a loss. If you try to do it at a loss, then that's not good for your organization. So why so much competition here? Here there is a product differentiation is not there. It's a commodity almost. If you reduce the price, your competitor will reduce. Like you are an established player in the liquid milk market, let us say in a city like Chennai. Now a new player has come His objective is to establish, have some footing there. So you will drop the price, or you will say, for every crate, I'll give you 1 liter free to the retailer. So you will try to push his product. So competition is coming from there. You will lose volume. So what is the options available to you? Either compete with him, reduce it further. To what extent you can go? Now here your traditional costing doesn't help you. Your traditional costing will tell you this is my standard cost. Standard cost is already a certain amount of loss is built into the standard cost. That doesn't help you here. Now you have to adapt new techniques, like what should be my ideal cost. Forget about my losses. You will be reporting your ideal cost versus the actual cost. Then that makes you focus on what are the alternative techniques available to bring down the gap between my ideal cost and actual cost. Ideal cost is without process loss, whereas standard cost is with process loss. So in a competitive pressure, that is the bottom of the triangle, in commodities, you should always look for reduction in cost and reduce the price, compete on price with the competitors. Now, the technique that will help you here is reporting ideal cost versus actual cost. So in dairy products like liquid milk, ghee, butter, some of the powders, when I say some of the powders, because of the almost commodity. So these products has to compete on price. So your cost has to be at the rock bottom. Then the left side triangle, cost volume profit analysis. There is some profit in the product. If you drop price here, you may gain some volume, but that will not stay with you. The day the other competitor drop the price, so this demand will go to him. So you cannot gain your volume by dropping your price. But what helps you in maintaining the market share here? So here again, the quality conscious customer will stay with the quality product, and the price conscious customer will go to the bottom for the lowest price. So by dropping your price, you are not going to gain volume here. And even if you gain volume temporarily, it's not going to stay with you. So which are the products here? Like your cheese, ghee, cheese, your curd, paneer, this kind of products have some profit in the total basket, and they will fit into this product cost. Now, what should you do here? It doesn't mean that you should ignore the cost management here. Cost management is required here as well. At the same time, don't drop your price here. If you drop your price and gain the market share, you are not going to retain that the day the other competitor drops his price. So this demand will go back to him again. So then where should you concentrate? You should concentrate on your quality of the product and building some new features into the product. Like in cheese, texture, paneer, the texture, the moisture content, the taste. These are all some of the aspects which you should concentrate on rather than reducing the price. Now, third leg, that is the product value added. In dairy industry, to my knowledge, there is no product in this which fits into this leg. That is value added product. Your definition of value addition, my definition of value addition are totally different here. Value added product in the sense Do you have the pricing capacity with high profit margin? Where is that possible? If you have a patented technology, or if you have a captive resource where others do not have access to that. There are strong entry barriers to enter into that business. It will be next to impossible. You have a highly innovative product. So, to my knowledge, none of these aspects or none of these qualities are there in the dairy industry. So the dairy industry products, all the dairy industry products will fit into the left leg of product cost, that is cost volume profit analysis leg, and the bottom leg of competitive pressure, where you should compete on cost at the bottom, where you should compete on quality on the left side. So these are the two possibilities for dairy industry as of now. Now, value innovation is eliminating some of the costs and raising some of the value to the buyer. The combination of these two, the small triangle where you have value innovation. So how relevant this concept for dairy industry is? Yes, to certain extent, but not universally applicable. So these are the value creators, customer value proposition. Now, cost driver analysis, that is the third aspect of our cost management. We have seen the value chain analysis, first theme. Second theme is the competitive analysis, whether you should compete on the product quality or the product, are you a product leader or a cost leader? Now, the third aspect, third theme of strategic cost management is cost drivers. So what are these cost drivers? What drives your cost? Now, strategic cost drivers, we can group it into two categories. One is structural category, the other one is executional category. Structural category, what drives your cost? The scale of operations will drive your cost. A plant handling 2 lakh liters, a plant handling 10 lakh liters, a plant handling 20 lakh liters. The cost structure is, cost behavior is totally different because of the operational synergies. Second one is the scope. Are you procuring from the individual farmers, or are you buying milk from already existing milk vendors like milk cooperatives who collect the milk and then sell it to you at your factory gate? And on this distribution side, are you depending too much on super distributors, or how strong is your channel? So are you there directly in the market, or are you too much depending on somebody else? Or is it are you doing just a job work? Many dairies do this. They don't market their products, they manufacture it for others. The scope and the experience, how long you are in the dairy industry, you know the in and out of it. And the technology, what kind of technology is used, and complexity. Are you there just in the liquid milk, or are you there in each and every product, you name it, in the dairy? If you are there in each and every product, fine, but how effectively and efficiently you are managing that operation? So complexity definitely brings more cost. You have to spend more cost on the complexity. So how this complexity is affecting your cost management? On the executional side, workforce involvement, is it decentralized decision making, or too much concentration, and for each and everything you have to take instructions, or whether the lower level management will be able to decide on something and then carry out the operations? If you have to take instructions for each and everything, the first thing casualty is the innovation. The innovation will not be there. So you will carry out whatever you tell him, but at the end of the day, both debits as well as credits to your account. So there is nothing that you can hold the workforce responsible there. So workforce involvement is definitely an executional cost driver. Total quality management. Now you know better than me on this quality management, how you want to manage your quality. Capacity utilization. This is a challenge, especially during the summer season. During the winter season, when milk is available plenty, if you want to store the powders to compensate for the summer season, converting the liquid milk into powder will cost you. Again, reconstituting that powder into liquid milk to meet your market demand in summer will involve additional cost. So what is the ideal situation for you? For each business, this is different. So you cannot lose market. Once you lose the market, gaining the market share will be next to impossible. At the same time, at what cost you are retaining that market share? Whether your costing system will give you this kind of analysis, whether your costing system is geared up and it will be able to tell you or help you in decision making. Plant layout efficiency. I have seen plants where the milk reception is at the ground floor and cheese plant is at the third floor. Now you take the milk from the ground floor to the third floor, process it there, and again bring down the way to the ground floor for processing. Is it an ideal layout? Now it depends upon the individual plant again. So plant layout efficiency, how ergonomically your plant layout is. And product configuration. And it is a complex situation in dairy industry, definitely, yes. You have to separate fat. Without separation of fat, there is no product in dairy industry. Full cream milk as it is, no one sells, and that market is limited. So product configuration plays an important role, and linkage with suppliers and customers. This also an executional cost driver. This drives your cost. Now, a little bit of value engineering in the cost structure, which we can attempt. Does the activity add value to the customer or not? If it is adding value to the customer, yes, we have to think about it further. If it is not adding any value to the customer, forget about it, close that activity. Straight away, delete that activity. Now, if the activity is adding value to the customer, is it performed efficiently? Fine. If it is not performed efficiently, then try to perform it efficiently. Concentrate on increasing the efficiency of that particular activity. If the activity is carried out efficiently, but it is not adding any value, you can think of redeploying these resources. There may be a very good administrative manager who is very good in administration, but that particular activity is not adding much value to your whole business. So you can think of redeploying this person or this entire team in some other areas, let us say marketing, or let us say distribution side or logistics. So if a particular activity is carried on efficiently, but it is not adding value to the customer, then you can think of redeploying that. But if the activity is not adding any value and it's not performed efficiently, straight away remove that activity. You may get a doubt how these are relevant for my business. So these are just basic principles. Now, when we apply these principles to your business, so actionable items will come out and you will get action plans for these items. They has to be carried out in a systematic way, meticulously, so that what activity of yours is adding value to the customer, what activity is not adding value to the customer, and how to reconfigure your entire value chain, start from milk procurement until the product is reaching the customer. Non-financial metrics plays an important role. I don't know how much time is already 12 o'clock. I think I'm just one or two slides I'll show you and then close it. I think I was given about 45 minutes to 1 hour. So I'll close it in 1 or two slides. Just enjoy this cartoon. You cannot manage what you cannot measure. That is Peter F. Drucker. He is the management guru, world-renowned management guru, says that you cannot manage what you cannot measure. How do you measure your fat and SNF content? You have to depend on the test reports. And at the same time, there is another Nobel Prize winner from UK in economics, Charles Goodhart's. He proposed a law where when a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. Now look at this cartoon. If you measure people on number of nails made, then you might get thousands of tiny nails, because the more and more nails they make, the better their performance, right? So you give them incentive. At the same time, if you measure people on weight of the nails made, then you might get a few giant heavy nails. The more and more the weight of the nails, the better their performance. I think you understand what I'm talking about while evaluating the performance of individuals in the organization. So the measures should be the SK. We talk about KPIs. How do you select these KPIs? This plays an important role. Now, in one of the meetings, the same butter example which I gave you, by the time the butter is tested and it is confirmed that the fat content is 82% or so, by then already 5 to 10 tons of 81% butter has come out. So should it not be a KPI? The quantity of butter with fat less than 82%. Should it not be a KPI? Take another example. We talk about steam cost. We want steam to be at the lowest cost. But how? If you say my cost was 1 rupee 50 paisa last year, this year per kg of steam, my cost is 1 rupee 40 paisa. Should I not be happy? I should be happy. But I will tell you, you should. This is not a something that you should be happy about. Why? There are so many elements in cost of the steam, like the calorific value of the coal, the efficiency with which the boiler is converting this coal energy into steam, and within the boiler again, the burnt particles, unburnt particles, and the ash content. That is at the generation side. While transporting, how many steam traps you have? Do you require that many steam traps? Each trap will be wasting steam. How insulated is your whole steam distribution system? What is the temperature difference from the boiler house to the usage point? Are you collecting all the condensate? These are all some of the factors that affect your steam cost. So straight away steam cost 1 rupee 50 paise to 1 rupee 40 paise. Should I be happy? No. Perhaps my steam boiler efficiency has gone up, which is a plus factor. Perhaps my coal price has come down. So because of the coal price reduction, my steam cost has come down. So should I be happy? I should be happy as long as coal cost is down, but it may go up or it may fluctuate any moment. But why should be worried about performance of my boiler efficiency, how efficiently my boiler is functioning? If the coal price has come down, but my boiler efficiency also has come down, then that is a factor which should worry me. So performance indicators you shall select in such a way that impartially it tells the efficiency of the process without touching directly the incentive portion or otherwise. My strong recommendation is don't link the measures which you have selected for performing or evaluating the performance of your business to the incentive payments. So find some other way to incentivize your managers, to make payment to your managers, bonuses and all those things. But if you link these two together, this is what will happen here. Exactly. There is a lot further. I think time is up. I request if you have any questions, I'll take those questions. Or if you have time and patience, let me know. I will continue.
So you can continue for some time.
Some more time?
Yes, sir. It's very interesting. It's very useful to the dairy people. Surely they can complete.
Yes, sir. Sir, till 12:20 we can go, sir. Then 10 minutes we will have Q&A, sir.
Yeah, I'll cover a few more aspects.
Sure, sir.
Now,
Sure, sir. Please, sir.
Our financial accounting will tell us this is our profit. But that was yesterday's. What you have done yesterday, and today your financial accounting is telling that you made so much profit yesterday. But what effort is required to continue the same profit tomorrow, our financial accounting will not be able to tell us. That is what, if you see here in this slide, success factors will not be measured by the financial accounting, whereas expected outcomes are measured by the financial accounting. Your sales can be measured. That is what your financial accounting measures. But to get that sale, what effort is required? What success factor is required? What factor will make that sale happen? That is not measured by the financial accounting system. Now, these measures has to be quantified. How do you quantify those success factors? We call it in strategic parlance leading indicators. Now, check your daily dashboard. How many leading indicators are there in your dashboard? And if you concentrate on those leading indicators, whether you get your expected outcomes or not. So if you have selected your leading indicators properly, keeping your outcomes in view, then you should get your outcomes. But if it is not happening, you should go back and then check whether your selection of your leading indicators are correct or not correct. I will give you some examples here. I'll take you to some examples. For example, improve monthly sales. How do you improve monthly sales? One is you have to increase the product's perceived quality amongst the customers. That is a leading indicator. Your financial accounting doesn't measure that. And the second thing, increase the sales team skills index. Now, in most of the supermarkets, if you go, if you ask what is the date of manufacture, they will tell my product is fresh, sir. It has come today only. If you ask him what is the actual date of manufacture, then you will fumble for a while. And then when you have to locate and then see that it was manufactured 10 days before and it has a shelf life of just 15 days. So 5 days left. I faced this yesterday. So this kind of sales force doesn't help you. So their sales team skills index. This is another success factor to improve the monthly sales. If you ask me only these two factors will improve the monthly sales, no. These two are a few factors which I identified for my product, and I'm concentrating on these two factors. If they don't give me desired result, then I think about other factors. Now, look at what will increase what I'm talking about as a leading indicator. That is, leading indicator is always with regards to the input, the effort. So when will it become an output? For example, sales team skills index, increase in sales team skills index will go up with the number of training hours, if the training hours are effective. If the training hours are not effective, irrespective of the number of training hours, so there that index will not go up, presuming that these training hours are effective and it is done properly. So with increase in number of training hours, the sales team skills index will go up. So that is an output. Now, what is the input here? The training hours is an input. So is the case for many of the processes. The example which I gave you, like the steam cost, what are all the success factors? One is ensure that you get high calorific value coal, low moisture content, low ash content, no clinker mixed up with the coal, and not much of powder. Right? These are all the success factors for generating goods, for getting good steam output. Whether your financial accounting system will measure these factors, it's a question of debate. Some businesses measure it, some businesses doesn't measure it. After getting good coal with all these qualities, whether you get the steam output, what you expected? Not necessarily. Because what is the temperature of your feed water? Are you raising the temperature of your feed water, start from room temperature up to the 100 degrees centigrade? Or are you using the condensate, which is already at 60-70 degrees centigrade, and just using small quantity of heat to raise it from 70 degrees to 100 degrees? So room temperature is 25 to 30, raising to 100 degrees, and condensate, which is already at 60 to 70, raising to 100, definitely will consume less heat, no? So when you look at the overall steam cost, what is your steam cost? Not just what the coal cost and then what the steam output. All this will factor in. It's not that every kg of steam what you generated from the boiler is going to the process usage point. Some quantity is required at the boiler house itself for preheating the feed water. Now, how small that quantity will be, it depends upon your condensate collection. So the success factor which is missing in the financial accounting is captured by the cost accounting system, and that too with a strategic approach. The leading in lagging indicators, just some more practical aspects, so we can make use of this while doing any of the strategic cost management for any of the businesses. Now let's take one example strategy, how we can quantify these success factors. Your priority is, that is your goal is, that is the rationale for this strategic hypothesis. Say customers that are served faster are happier and buy more, especially in the ice cream parlor. The moment customer comes there, then give it to him, serve him. So the hypothesis underlying assumption is that customers that are served faster are happier and buy more. This is the hypothesis. Now to test that hypothesis and get benefit out of this hypothesis, let us see what else we have to do. Formulate a business goal. Then fine, you formulate a business goal. What is your business goal? Improve customer service. So you said that your assumption is customers that are served faster are happier and buy more. Fine, improve the customer service. But how do you measure that? You need a success factor for that. Response time. What is your response time from the time customer asks for something and you gave him that? What is the response time? You can measure that easily and quantify it. Average response time in hours, not just 1 or 2 incidents. You have to measure it continuously over a period of time so that you get benefited. It's not that no, today you have time, so you measure it. Tomorrow, if you have more customers and you don't have time to measure it, so don't measure. No, that doesn't give you a result. You have to be consistent. Then what is the expected outcome of this? You have improved customer service by reducing the average response time. What is the outcome of this? Customer will have a positive feeling and his behavior will change so that he will think of your business when you want ice cream. So how do you quantify that? Customer satisfaction index. This is the score. You can easily measure that. Now, will it happen? Okay, fine. You defined you made an assumption, strategic assumption, and then you formulated a business goal. Now you have defined the success factor, identified the success factor, and also quantified the success factor. And you also defined the expected outcome and you quantified that expected outcome. But will it happen on its own? No, it doesn't happen on its own. It needs an initiative. Why do we call it as initiative? Why not we call it as a plan? So in strategic parlance, everything we talk about is the best what we can do. So it is not plan. If it is a plan, it has to go as per plan. But here, there is no guarantee that your strategy will succeed every time. Even after doing all these things, your strategy will not, there's no guarantee that your strategy will succeed every time. That's why we call it as initiative, but not a plan. What are the initiatives that's required? Omni-channel customer support. So if there is a Facebook message, respond immediately. If there is a Twitter message, respond immediately. If there is an email or a letter or a phone call or a WhatsApp message, all these should be received at one place and response should go immediately so that you install an omni-channel customer support. This is just for an example, one aspect of a business for one strategic business goal that we gave an example. So this is the kind of strategy that you should make for the entire organization, for each function, each process, and each location, so that it is a combined effort that gives you result. At the same time, if you make it a bulky document of a small size book, you will not be able to concentrate on that. So your strategic goals should not be not more than 4 to 6, minimum 4 to 6, and not more than 10 at any point of time in any financial year. Now, how do you cascade? This is an important example for dairy industry. Improve OEE. I hope you are familiar with OEE, overall equipment efficiency or effectiveness. This is the factor of 3 variables. One is availability of the equipment. Equipment is available without breakdowns. Second one is performance. The equipment can turn out 100 packs per hour. So how many actually it is giving? Third one is quality. It's not that it gives you 100 packs. How many are acceptable and will go into the market? That is saleable production. These 3 variables decide the OEE. Now our objective is to improve OEE. If we want to improve OEE, so what are all the other things that we need to do? First thing, we should reduce the equipment downtime so that the equipment is available more time. Second one is improve the throughput. If it is giving 100 packs, ensure that it gives somewhere near that. And the third factor is increase the first pass yield so that all the factors, availability, performance, and quality are taken care of. And this will increase your OEE. If you increase OEE, automatically your cost will come down. Now, how do you implement this? What should you measure? To reduce the equipment downtime, you should measure number of breakdowns. You also should have a target. Earlier it was 2, I want to bring it down to 1. So what should I do? Just because it is my wish, it doesn't happen on its own. So I have to do something. I should concentrate more on preventive maintenance. Then my target can be achieved from 2 breakdowns per quarter to 1 breakdown per quarter, so that my equipment availability will be more. The second aspect is improved throughput. Total, what do you measure? You measure your total output to total production time. So what is your target? 25 pieces per hour. Where are we now? We are at 24. Now we want to, from 24, we want to go up to 25. So what is the initiative required for that? If there is any debottlenecking, for example, cheese, when you empty the vat, if you don't have the whey processing capacity, then your vat has to wait. Is this matched, or is still it is a bottleneck? Then automation. All the packed liquid milk packets are transported via a conveyor, or is it to be done manually? Depends. Then increase the first pass yield. It doesn't happen on its own. Today it is at 99. I want to go to 99.5%. What should I do? Total quality management, Six Sigma, lean. There are a number of techniques which are relevant for my process. I should choose that. I think the given time is up. You can go for question answer session.
Participant, you are welcome to ask any questions if you have.
Hello.
Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Charles.
Hello.
And I find that this is a very practical talk because for me it is beneficial because I work in the industry and currently, I am doing some training programs. I think for the participants who are attending this program, there are some few tips he has given right from beginning. One is optimize with quality, align cost with quality. These are all, we lack in the industry. We normally go for quality improvement, but we never optimize it. and we never even worry about the cost. So these are the very good things he has highlighted. I think Mr. Ramana, I think you have done a very good job on cost drivers. You made it an excellent point on capacity utilization. Most of the dairy plants, if you look at it, they have 5 lakh capacity. Because I am doing some consultancy for them, I know 4 lakh capacity, handling only 25 to 30%. So that is a very big, cost, negative driver for that those companies. And you also mentioned about product leader and cost leader. Excellent. I think this is a good analysis for the industry. Whether you want to be a cost leader or at both, it is impossible. You are already told. I think that's a very good, input we have received now. Compete with this excellent, what you call suggestion, but practically it becomes highly difficult. But still, people are trying to do it. But here, unethical competition is only prevailing in the market. In fact, if they go for a scientific way of competition, definitely the industry will improve. Today, I have seen Amul has given a call to all the corporate sector: do not pay more trade margin. So that is creating a problem in the market. So spoil the market. Okay. Then again, I have seen some of the strategic cost drivers, structural and executional. Again, plant layout, we nicely pointed out. Third floor is cheese plant, ground floor is reception of milk. These are the layout time itself. People should decide. And another thing is your project execution. Once the project is executed or planned, it should be frozen, because it is from my experience from NDDB as well as in the private sector. Many a times the frozen design is getting modified. As a result, the cost overrun of the project goes up. This, all these are not captured. As a result, it goes unnoticed. And finally, the budget exceeds, and the bankers associations, and the industry is trying to, solve it with great difficulty. KPI, steam cost, and butter 82%. Why not? Excellent. I think these are some of the things which I have implemented in the corporate sector, like price of coal or firewood is important, and calorific value is important. It is not that easy. They just engineers make a presentation, sir, the steam cost has come down. So when you drill it down, you will find out that it is not actually the cost which has come. It is because of the factors or the raw materials which have contributed. Nice ideas you have given. I think the people who are from the industry will definitely get benefited. But the time given to you is very short. I find that you require more time. Maybe you require 8 hours time to explain this entire concept. Then only it will be very useful. I think IDA Tamil Nadu chapter has done a good job. I would request IDA Tamil Nadu chapter to arrange for a paid training program. Inviting Mr. Ramana for that, so that he can just make it into 6 sessions and also teach the participants for the especially MSME sector, which will be highly benefited. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ramana.
Thank you, sir. Sure, sir. We will take up this, and soon we will arrange for that paid program, sir.
Most welcome.
Friends, any other questions you can ask, sir, Ramana, sir?
You can ask any questions on the subject. This commercial aspect we can look at the end.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. Your lecture is very excellent.
Thank you.
Dr. Raja, sir, please unmute yourself and speak, sir.
Yeah. Good evening. This
Good
is
evening.
Dr. Rajan. Thank you very much for your excellent lecture, sir. We will convert all speech into practice in future. Thank you very much.
Most welcome. It's my pleasure.
Sir, good morning.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, please go on.
Mr. Justin, sir, please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, IDA Tamilnadu chapter, for an excellent organizing of this excellent lecture regarding strategic cost management. It was very useful, as our zonal chairman has said. And speaker practically, I think, has got a lot of experience which we people need. We practicing dairy technologists and other people in the production as well as cost management systems. We need to focus on these two as playing with cost management as well as TQM, total quality. These two factors has been explained very well. I think one this thing, sir. Sir, actually, you said that strategic cost management in dairy industry, we have to give adequate training in sales and other things. How to overcome this competitive market, sir? How to overcome this competitive market? You said a good way that quality as well as this has to be matched to overcome this quality competitive market. In fact, see, the prices are increasing without any there is no any standards, as sir said. Amul is making a call to unite all. Any idea to overcome this difficulty in fixing up the price in the market from your end, sir?
Yeah, fine. See, in the competitive examinations during our earlier college days, teacher used to tell us, saying that the question what you are attempting is also for all others. So the information what is available to you is also available to all others. So comparatively, who does better wins the race. So now in this competitive environment, one is unethical practices that come up frequently, which you have to face. Especially when I was sitting in the business review meetings, the sales team will come and tell me, saying that so-and-so has dropped the price, or they are just launching the product and they are selling at throwaway price. So I used to tell them, don't respond to that kind of price war. If you reduce your price, he will further reduce it, because he has come with a determined objective, saying that you want grab some market share. So don't compete there. You stick to your product pricing, you stick to your quality, and you encourage your, or you motivate your channel, not through price and all those things, but do some other thing if you can. So that is an art again. So there is no one size fits all. There is no one solution for all the problems. This problem is universal. Yes, unethical practices will be there, sometimes knowingly, sometimes unknowingly. And at the same time, you have to take some administrative decisions, not cost-based decisions, sometimes, to respond quickly to these quick changes. If the price has gone up suddenly, how quick response how responsive is your internal systems to tell you, saying that this is your impact. What is the consequence? Price has gone up, no doubt about it. But what is the impact? Whether your existing system can quantify the impact and tell you, and once the impact is known, then it's for you to take an administrative decision. Fine, my loss is just limited to this. So this is also to be a temporary phenomena. So I don't mind observing this cost for short period. But if it is a long term, then you have to change your strategy. So your existing strategy doesn't work. So at the same time, it's not possible to pass on the entire cost increase to the market, because you cannot change your selling price daily. Whereas that is what the case with your input cost. In dairy industry, especially the input cost, the milk price fluctuates depending upon the demand and supply. So you cannot pass on this cost to the customer immediately. So then first thing is you should know the impact of this price rise. And second thing is, what is your pricing capacity? Today, if Amul increases the price, will all those milk users will go away from Amul? So I will show you one relevant slide here. Where it is, I have to locate it. See this customer value proposition. So value is equal to product, service attributes, product or service attributes plus image plus relationship. So product service attributes are functionality, quality, price, and time. Now functionality is basics, performance, and delighters. The touch screen in your mobile phone, is it not a wow factor when it was introduced? It was a delighter, right? So today it has become a basic function. So it's not the product alone. There are two other factors that creates value to the customer. One is another one, apart from the product, image, your image, company image, and plus the relationship you make. Now, same liquid milk, take for example in Bangalore, a Nandini milk is available, Amul milk is available, Heritage milk is available, Hudson Agro milk is available, and some more brands are available. An unknown customer, which one he picks up first? Which one he picks up? Also all 4.5, 8.5. Not much price difference. If the price sensitive customer, he goes for the lowest price one. Otherwise, an ordinary customer, he will go with the good image, corporate image. So price alone is not the determining factor here to the customer. The other two factors, that is the image plus relationship. Perhaps you have to leverage these two factors to increase your pricing power and overcome the temporary price fluctuations. That's all I have from my side on this aspect, I can say.
Thank you very much, sir. Very nice explanation. Thank you. Thank you.
Friends, any other questions, please? So if there is no question, we will move on to vote of thanks. I request our Vice Chairman, Mr. Khanna, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir.
I think he has to unmute.
Yes, sir. Good noon to one and all attended this webinar, and I would like to deliver the vote of thanks. We take this opportunity to thank the guest speaker, Mr. Ramanaiah Naidu. He is a management consultant and gave an excellent presentation on strategic cost management in dairy industry. And it is very useful to dairy technologists, dairy entrepreneurs, and professionals, those who are working with the dairy industry. Thank you, sir. I extend my gratitude to our chairman, Mr. R.J. Strom, for not only spending his time and also for achieving the many endeavors. Thank you, sir. And it's my pleasure to thank the dignitaries honored of this webinar, not only for participating, but also for guiding us for a beautiful life. Thank you so much. And I take this opportunity to especially express my sincere regards and gratitude Mr. C.P. Charles, Chairman, IDA South Zone, and for always encouraging us and providing opportunity to organize such programs. Thank you, sir. My deep sense of appreciation and thanks to all the participants who choose to be live and with us and attend the webinar with great enthusiasm and made it as a successful event. Last not but least, I thank my fellow executive committee members for enthusiastically arranging this webinar. Without you all, this program is not possible. Once again, I thank one and all and wholeheartedly. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you.
sir.
You can log off now.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, we can log it.
Yes, sir.